And we're back. Isn't St. Patty's Day this weekend?
Is that why you're wearing green?
No.
I feel like every single year we've done something
I think
wild.
we still should. I want to go out and get really drunk. I'm kidding.
God, Mom.
Brayden, was
you
last
sound like a college kid.
was
I'm
last
just
year
kidding.
the year that we made that video?
No, that was like 2 or 3 years ago.
What was last?
Listen to this. This was the funniest time I went out. I don't know if it was with you guys. Oh, no, it was for a vlog. I don't know if you were there, Mom. But we went out in Baltimore City and it's this place called Fells Point. You were
We were
there?
all there.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Dakota was there too.
Yeah,
So
it's a
was
really
Kennedy.
popular place for St. Patty's Day. No, she wasn't there. This was a long time ago.
Oh.
There was this like older man, pretty big older man, and guys wear skirts for St. Patty's Day,
yeah.
like traditional skirts. And I didn't know that they don't put underwear underneath their skirts.
We body
Were you
painted
there?
for that.
Oh, you were there. Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
the body painted girl in green.
Do you remember when the guy,
Yeah.
he was super drunk. These people were basically near pass out. He bends over,
Yeah.
he pulls his skirt up in
And all
front
his
of
balls
us.
are hanging out.
And I see his hairy balls hanging and with his out.
I feel like you can get arrested for that.
Well, you can.
It's like indecent exposure.
At the time, we didn't even think of that, though. We thought it was funny, but I have it on film.
I thought it was gross. I didn't think it
I
was
have
funny.
a video of his balls
Ew.
Is that what you look at night before you go to bed?
every night before I go to sleep.
That's okay.
Corey and I actually, when we're home alone, we put it up on the TV and just let it play
I
on repeat.
probably still have it on my computer when I painted that 65-year-old guy as a tiger, and he wanted me to take pictures of him.
Wait, tell that story.
Hilarious.
This is weird.
Yeah, I got a call from a client that wanted to surprise his wife to be painted like a tiger. So I said, oh, okay, whatever. So I took a friend of mine that was like my bodyguard at the time, and it's really scary because we get down to like his basement where it was like a cellar type thing. And I'm like looking around, there's like all these refrigerators, and I'm getting like scared. And I'm like, I said to my friend, you need to go open up all those refrigerators. And so he went and opened up every one, and it had like food and stuff. And I was like waiting to see like jars of like brains and
You
stuff.
thought it was meat.
What? Oh, right. Well, here's what's so funny.
It's human meat.
I mean, obviously it ended up okay, but at lunch, so he comes down. I'm going to back up. So he comes down and he seems okay and cool. He's just an old man, basically. And he gets naked in front of us. And it's like this tiny little
Did you know
square.
he was going to get naked?
I knew it. Yeah. But I'm like thinking in my head,
Butt
like, I'm
naked?
not painting his. Yeah.
Oh, he should have had underwear on.
I am not painting his. I'm not doing it.
Also, I'm sorry, but like, what woman would want their man painted
Claudia,
butt naked as
Claudia,
a
you
tiger?
do
Surprising
not
her.
underestimate the female freaks out there, okay? Just because
so
you're
here's
not
what
like
I've-
that.
What I found out is that it was like I think they were swingers and whatever. So like that's not even the funniest part about it. But my friend was like sitting on a little sofa like this. He's a really tall, big guy, and this guy. Hopefully he's
don't
not
say his
listening to
name.
this. Just bleep that.
What do you mean? He probably would like it.
He probably would. He just was surprising his wife. That's all. It was like they can do whatever they want in their privacy of their own home.
Are you
They
sure
were having
he
a birthday
definitely
party.
had a wife?
I didn't meet her, but I heard somebody walking around upstairs that was leaving. So
God.
I assume yes. And he made us park all the way down the street.
Did he have a lot of money? It was like a big house.
And it wasn't huge. It was like not as nice
How
as
much
like,
did he pay you?
I think it was like two grand or something like that. And I gave some money. But listen, it was so funny because he's really tall. He's like 6'5", and he sat down on this sofa and his beep. He took his he turned around because I said turn around. He turns around and flings his right in front of was like stunned, and he didn't have anywhere to go. He had this tiny little sofa, so he's just sitting there like this, and I'm just looking at them. I'm like dying, and then comes to lunch time.
What
so we
did
had
you
to
do?
take a
You
break.
just left his out?
He just I mean
Like you didn't paint it?
No, I'll tell you that in a minute. And then lunchtime came and was sitting there, and he's like, "No," I said, "Are you going to eat?" He gave us salads, and he disappears, and he's like, "You eat it first." And I said, "Why?" He goes, "In case you are poisoned and you pass out, I'm here to help you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So he was literally watching me eat and making sure I was not having a reaction to the food. I said, "Joe, he could easily do yours. Maybe we should have switched our salads or something." Like, it's like he could do his and not mine, and then he passes out and I'm alone. So
Was he that weird? He gave that much of a weird vibe?
He's a little weird, yeah. But then as we were doing it, and then I had to put these ears on him, and I oh my God, while I finally got to part, and I said, I'm not painting this. I said, I'm going to give you a brush, and here's the paint, and you can do it. And he's lifting himself up and painting himself in the mirror and everything. He's like, does this look all right? And I'm like,
He's probably getting off to painting himself in front of you guys.
What was he painting it orange?
Yeah, I think it was orange. No, it was white because the inside of the underneath of the tiger is usually white, so it was white. And here's the craziest part. So I had a professional camera, and he was, the plan was for me to take pictures of him outside, and he said he has a cage. So I was like expecting this huge to like be in his yard, like being delivered or something. We go out. And this is also, by the way, after he almost passes out from low blood sugar. I think he's a diabetic, and he had some medicine that he was taking. I'm like, the whole thing was so insane. I was like, oh my God, we're going to have to call 911. The ambulance is going to come, and I'm going to have to explain why this old man is painted like a tiger and sweating. And like, I don't even know what to do at this point. I was freaking out. And I deserved so much more money than I got for that.
God, yeah.
I go outside, and following me, and it is a dog kennel. The size of roosters. And he crawls inside of it. And he said, okay, now do this, and puts his butt up in the air with his balls hanging down, just like you said. And I have them on computer somewhere.
I remember.
And then he wanted me to meet him and go over the pictures. I said, no, I'm not doing that.
I remember seeing the photos, or at least one of them, like one of the tame ones.
I showed them to you guys.
That sounds like his own fetish, not something that his wife wants.
You have no idea, Claudia. You have no idea.
I don't know.
Do you think they did it while he was a tiger?
Yeah, and then there's paint
not. I
everywhere.
probably would have given her an infection. Her whole inside of her vagina would have been white.
Well, I know all her friends were coming over. And I think
he's gonna walk around naked in front of all her friends.
I think he was the only one guy there. Yeah.
They definitely have swinger parties.
I've been to a couple of them with my body paint stuff. Believe me, I've got stories.
I want to hear them
that
all.
Was just one
Mom,
for
you
now.
seriously need to write these stories down and release a book. Like,
I know that was the most hilarious one ever. But when and I left, we literally to this day, if I look at him, and I haven't seen him in years, all I have to do is look at him and say tiger, and we just fall to the ground, start laughing nonstop, because I just can't believe we went through this. He's a sweet guy. He's a really good guy.
I remember
very
him being
protective.
sweet.
Didn't he have feelings for you and you didn't reciprocate them?
Kind of. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, and you know what? No, don't say sorry. You know why? Because she only went after bad men.
Yeah, literally.
Like,
well, if I would have went after him, he would have been a sweetheart. He would have taken care of me. Like, that's the kind of person he was.
Yeah, and you didn't want that.
Yeah, he was too nice for me. So
she was too damaged and unhealed.
She wanted abuse.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Dakota's nice, so what changed?
She's amazing.
Well, Mom has grown out of her.
What do you mean? What's changed?
Her bad ways.
Mom is healed. Well, she's not completely healed, but she's on
I'm
her healing
never going to
journey.
be completely healed. Yeah,
you're on your healing journey.
She's a lot better than she was when we were young.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you are. It's like completely different.
Yeah. But honestly, I also feel like financial independency is like a huge thing. And if I would have had money coming in back then in a different
Mom,
way.
You liked having men that didn't have any money, that like wanted.
It's not that I liked it. It's that I had this really weird. No, I remember having this really weird thing because men with money were very controlling to me and would try to call the shots on my life. And I didn't want
freedom.
Yeah, but then they still tried to call the shots even without money. So
yeah, but the ones that, I mean, honestly, all of them.
I couldn't win.
Were like little.
No, you
know the word.
Moochers.
Yeah, they're little like moochers. The worst one was the guy named Guy.
Right. Oh yeah.
He was the worst.
Oh, he was horrible.
Okay, I really have to say,
I don't understand.
How do you look at a baby's face and name it Guy?
Is that his actual name? Like they named him like Guy, like little Guy.
This is just baby Guy.
Well,
I think his father's name was Guy too.
I think that with other names too. I know there's probably people listening who have these names, but like, how do you? I know it's like Robert, but like, how can you name like a little baby like Robert or Bob?
I think that's the kind of thing that just goes in within the family.
It's generational.
Yeah, you have to understand.
It's really weird.
Back then, those names were probably like the popular
Frank?
names for babies.
Baby Frank.
Frank. I don't know.
Frank.
I like Frank for
More
some
like
reason.
Wallace.
I like Frank as a name for a cat.
Wallace.
If it was
I think Frank is a cute. I think
Frankie.
I love the name Frankie for a girl.
Me too.
I think those
I think
names
it's
will
such a
come
cute
back
name.
though. A lot of
Yeah.
the old ones, because once that generation like completely dies out, who has those
There's
kind of
some that
names,
never
people are
die
gonna
out.
want those names again.
Gertrude.
Gertie's cute.
Yeah. Beatrice. There's some girls.
Gertie
like, I know
reminds me of
Beatrice is-
GERD.
Gerd.
Yeah.
Gertie?
No,
It sounds like
Beatrice is
girdle.
cute because you call them B. Like B.
Oh, yeah, like
BEA. B.
Yeah.
So you're
But
gonna
anyway,
name
Mom,
you're gonna name your kid something to call it something else.
Well, when I pick a name, yeah, I want to make sure they have like a nickname option.
No, I agree. I love nicknames. I just think it's funny when people name their kids something and then they only call them the nickname.
When I was younger, I wanted to be Joey.
Joey? Why?
like
That
Joey
actually
For
fits
like
you.
Joe
King.
for a girl.
I think that fits you.
Girl.
I like the name
like
Joey
Joey
for
or
a girl.
Joe.
I've never
I
met a
honestly
girl
like
named
boy
Joey.
names for girls.
I
Or, like,
love the name Joe.
boy
Me too.
names.
Me too.
Joey King.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know names.
I don't know who it was. I think it was like on one of the like sitcoms I used to watch. Facts of Life. I think there was a girl named Joe on that. Facts
think
of
it's
Well,
Life.
Little
It was
Women, there's a
great
Joe.
show.
That's a girl.
Same with
Oh, yeah,
Grey's
that's right.
Anatomy.
Yep.
So, Mom, what
Or
do you think was the
Joanna.
turning point for you, for when you stopped going for those crazies?
It was Guy.
I know what it
he
was. No, it was
wasn't
when she
the
broke her
turning
neck.
point.
Oh
Was it?
yeah.
She-
First of all, I did not break
You
my
broke
neck.
your neck? I remember you
Yeah,
had
she
a
would do
brace.
break my neck.
She would be doing handstands in her room and also go salsa dancing every other night. And I was like, something's gonna stop you eventually, and it
That
did.
was not the turning point. The turning point for what? Picking horrible men?
Yeah.
That was not the turning point either. I
it
just
definitely
remember.
calmed you
It was
down.
Dakota.
I don't.
It literally didn't stop
what was it?
until
Oh, no,
Dakota.
no. What was right before Dakota? Oh, right before Dakota was. But then before was,
She was nuts too.
from Texas. He really.
I don't even know who that is.
I do because she had a long distance
Yeah.
I don't think I
relationship
lived
with
there.
him.
Yeah, but it made me, which was a good thing
Oh my
because
gosh,
it
yeah,
truly
can't
made
forget
me
COVID
realize
days.
how childish
No, this was before
men can
COVID.
be.
I remember.
Well, COVID days, Mom had freaking FaceTime dates every other
No,
night.
but also no. She would do that in Florida constantly. She would be on the couch
Yeah.
FaceTiming a man, and she would talk to them like she didn't care if anyone was listening, which just was always funny to me because when I'm on the phone with someone, if there's somebody else in the house, in the other room, wherever, I'm just like aware of them hearing everything I say. And Mom would just be in her own little world, FaceTiming some guy. And I would just be like, I'd be in the background. He'd be like, oh, is that Kennedy in the background? I didn't even know who he was. So glad
I
that's
truly,
over.
you know what? You know when you like eat something, like say you like eat too much spinach and you just get so sick of spinach you never can eat it again.
Yeah.
That's how it is with men for me. I got so sick of
Same.
it. I did it so much. It was so much of it that I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's how I can. The only
You
analogy
just
I
didn't
can
want to
think
go
of.
through the whole process again every single time.
Yeah, and now when I look at men, I mean, I can appreciate like good looks and everything, but I'm just like, I have PTSD where I think about it and I'm like, oh my God, if I had to ever start over again, the thought of it is like literally makes me feel like I'm going to go out of my mind.
Yeah, that's how I feel,
And
honestly.
Dakota's, me and Dakota have literally the best relationship. Like, I'm so happy. She supports me with everything. She calms me down. We play games together. She's literally the way that we play Zelda. She's I play left. She plays right. That is how we are in life. I am left. She is right. She finishes my thoughts. She can write things down for me. And I'm like, yes, that's
how
it.
it should be. You always need
Yeah.
someone that's like the opposite of you so that they balance everything
Yeah.
out.
We balance each other out, I think.
Yeah.
A lot.
That just
Yeah.
literally hearing you even just say those things just makes me feel so happy. Like you have no idea.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you guys, because honestly, people need a support system.
Yeah.
So you guys
Yeah.
are absolutely 1,000 billion% my support
I think
system.
about that all the time. If I didn't have you guys, I don't know. I don't have no idea what my life would be like. My family is truly, truly everything to me. And I just think about it all the time, how a lot of people don't have that. And it makes me really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was telling Jesse about, because like when you think about having kids, you think about them as a baby, but then you also think, oh, but then they're going to grow up. And like, I feel like it's easy to have fears of like who they're going to become or like if they're going to want to stay close with you and have a good relationship with you. And I'm like, you have to think about how like, yeah, you spend all these years taking care of them and putting yourself into them, and then one day you take care of each other. Like they get old enough that it's like you both, like, it's like, for example, like his mom spent, you know, the whole, honestly, up until he probably moved out, same with you, of like really taking care of him, and that was like her sole role. And it's like now she can come to him with things that she needs help with, or whatever the case. And I'm like,
I agree. And I think that is something that can only happen naturally. You can't force that. And also your kid should, I don't think it should be like your kid wants to help you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it should be the type of situation where you're raising somebody with zero expectation of them giving you something in the future.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which you can't treat your own child as an investment portfolio for when you become old. Because I think some people do have the perspective, it's like, I'm going to take care of you now, and when I'm old, you're obligated to take care of me. You want to have a kid who actually like would want to help you just intrinsically, and not because they owe you something.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like me and Jesse. I mean, honestly, I feel like all of us are just. It's like you want to take care of the people in your life. Like you want to help them. You want to make sure they're okay, or be there for them when they need someone to talk to. And it's not just because like, oh, it's my mom, I have to. But it's more just like, obviously, because you care.
Yes, but it's also respect both ways.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain respect between, like I knew that being a mother, I'm telling my kids what to do, and at some point I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And they're going to think their own way. They're going to think their own thoughts. They're all individual. And I've got to kind of allow it to happen. And to me, that's like amazing, watching a child grow up and into an adult and being able to choose their own things, and then getting advice from them, and not every single thing they have to agree with the way you are just because you're their parent. And like a lot of parents hold on to, well, I'm your parent and I'm always going to know better than you. And that's not true.
It's a control thing.
Yeah.
You've never had that desire to control us ever. And I never felt that. And I always felt like you pushed us to be very genuine and to follow our instincts. And I think about it all the time, how like when I was younger, I used to have on my door, I think I was like maybe 11. I used to have everything happens for a reason on my door. I put it on my door. Like, I can't remember if I wrote it or what. But I just remember for as long as I can remember thinking that way. And I still think that way of like, not so much even everything happens for a reason, but it's all part of it. That's what I say to myself. I always say it's all part of it, because no matter what, you know, everyone's on their different path, everyone's on their different journey, but it's a very comforting thought to feel like no matter what happens, I am where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, you also have to be very careful about what your relationships look like. You want to be in relationships where the person is never taking from you, and I think that's a really good, easy way to assess if you're in a good or bad relationship, because you're in a good relationship with Dakota because she's not taking from you. If anything, she's like giving to you in a sense, but you're not even asking for it. She's just kind of doing it out of her own good nature.
Right. Exactly.
And you've been in too many relationships all at the same time where it's constantly like taking from you, and it becomes draining, because I do think you're a good person. You always try to give the people what they want, and then it becomes overwhelming when it's coming from too many directions, and then you literally entirely lose yourself in the process, because you're just like this thing for giving people what they're constantly asking for. But if you're around everyone and no one's asking anyone for anything, but instead they're just giving things because they want to, in the process, it makes everything
That's literally
better.
detachment.
Exactly.
That's detachment.
Yeah.
And it's just like, detachment is literally just being okay with any outcome, and not putting all your eggs in one basket, not being too attached to any one, like this has to happen so I can do this.
Exactly.
Like life will happen.
And you don't owe anyone anything, but that also doesn't mean that you can't do things for people.
And no one
Like,
owes you anything.
Exactly. And it's like the detachment thing you were talking about. It's like relationships. I think people grew up in this world where everything's transactional. You owe somebody something, they do something for you, you owe them money. This happens and this happens, but you can't apply that same thing to relationships. If somebody like does something good for you, it doesn't necessarily mean you owe them. If you do something good for somebody else and they don't owe you anything, Like that's not how a good, valuable relationship functions. You can't look at it in terms of a transaction the same way you do when you go to this Target and buy
and in
something.
my opinion, it doesn't
work that way.
It doesn't feel good to view it that way, because I've been in that place before where you do something for someone and in the back of your head you're like, all right, well now they kind of owe me one. And I don't like feeling like that. I don't like thinking like that. I don't like doing things for people with the thought in the back of my mind of they're going to pay me back later for this. Like anything I do, I want it to be because I want to do it. I'm doing it with full intention, not for some egotistical reason.
Well, yeah, you'll never have that loose relationship where you like can completely be yourself and say whatever you want without like a worry of what the person's going to try holding over your head.
Yep.
I can't imagine ever giving someone something like just because I want to, and then thinking, oh, like they'll do something for me later.
It's so we can balance the playing field again.
Or like using it against them later on. I'm like, that's
depends on how you were raised.
Yeah, I'm like, that's just not.
But here's the thing. You can never actually have a real relationship that way with anyone. All your relationships will be kind of fake.
Yeah, no one will ever want to take anything from you.
Yeah.
Or ever want your help or ever come to you for help.
But what happens is there could be a whole friend group who has that transactional mentality. Yep. So it's all just bullshit. It's all just surface level bullshit. And there's no depth in the relationships, and then people wonder why they're so miserable.
That's why you have to, or at least me personally, a big fear of mine, especially when I was younger, was people thinking I was mean. And I know girls have this fear a lot where you don't want people to think you're mean, especially other women. And I still feel that way, but now I think to myself, I am okay with the idea of someone thinking I'm mean. I'm okay with the idea of someone thinking I'm a bitch, I'm this, I'm that. Because if you know what you are and you are confident in what you are, and you're surrounded by people who actually see you and accept you and make you feel loved, the opinions of people you do not know or the opinions of whoever will not affect you.
Well, what's even something you could do that would make you a bitch, though?
The way you look.
The way you look?
No. No, I was thinking like canceling on plans or doing something like that, like in a low level friendship maybe or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example, but I can't. But something like that where you're worried about the other person's feelings getting hurt or thinking it's their fault or she doesn't blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Just all of the anxiety that comes with people pleasing and trying to appease people. I feel like it's hard to let go of that, but once you are able to accept people not thinking that.
So what you're saying is, in a sense, like limiting yourself out of the fear of other people getting angry with you or becoming envious or some other scenario. You don't want that person to feel bad.
At least as a young girl, I never wanted to be seen as mean because there's already so many mean people out there. Like I didn't want anyone to experience that from me. But
so you suppressed yourself because of it,
or just tried to be like extra nice to everyone.
Probably, yeah.
To me, I said the way you look because I think people can see you from afar and not know you, or know of you but not really know you, and they're like, oh, she is a bitch because she walks around with a straight face or something, or like. And then have this perception that you're not really nice, so then they never approach you. But in
people
reality,
have literally through the years have told me straight up, oh my God, I thought before that you were so not a nice person. And I'm like, why? They're like, I don't know. I just like the way you look or whatever. And I'm like, the way I look, like it's shocking to hear that.
You cannot come up with a perception of someone unless you have literally gone up and had a conversation with them and spoken to them and introduced yourself and whatever. Because there was someone posted something about me like at the gym I used to go to saying, oh, I've seen her there and like she just walks around like she's the and whatever else. And I'm like, literally, what does that even mean? Because I walk around like everyone else does in the gym with my headphones on, and no one has ever approached me. No one comes up to me and says hi. But if they did, like obviously I would.
Well, yeah, that's just because of the way you look, though.
Be so nice.
That's exactly what she said.
Yeah,
like I'm not allowed to be
level.
It's more just looking at. It's seeing me focused.
Walking around like you're the is just code for she looks confident.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like I just walk around, with purpose because I want to get out of there.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I want to get on my
which just goes to
machine and
show people are going to have endless perceptions of you from endless different angles. You can't do anything to control it, so you might as well just be like, it. You can think whatever you want. You can have fun with that. Bye.
Yeah, I mean
She was basically saying you're too confident, so I don't like you.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Or you're too pretty, or
I'm like,
you look
damn,
good.
I offended you that much? I didn't even know someone was looking at me.
They're haters.
Well, she actually meant, I really want to be like that.
Probably.
That's what she
I'm
meant.
like, maybe I just think it's so crazy because it's like you're looking at me from afar, but maybe if you came up and said, "Hi, my name is so and so," you would realize that like I'm not actually
God,
this person you think I am.
That happens so much everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I told my therapist about that a while ago, and she was like, "Who cares if she thinks that you're a bitch? Why does that matter?" And I was like, "Good point."
Well, I remember when Brandon first started making videos, and me and Claudia were objectively bitchy in them, but looking back, I was like, whatever. We're a family. You're our brother. Like, it's our relationship.
I was just gonna say, I find it so funny people's perception of like our relationship online. Like the other. Like a week ago, I posted a video of me trying Kennedy's dresses on that she has stored up in my closet upstairs. And there was like multiple different comments saying like, "I hope you asked her first," or like,
"Yeah, and you
like,
didn't, you bitch.
Did you tell her?" And I'm like, what do you mean? She's my sister. Like if she leaves something here in my house, it's free game. Like I can f- with it if I want to. The thing is, I don't have to ask you because I know you well enough to know that you don't give a you don't care.
Yeah.
Just as if I had something at your house, I wouldn't give a if you used it.
I feel like a lot of people don't have the relationship with their siblings or their parents where there is nothing I wouldn't say to you guys. Nothing. No story I wouldn't tell. No like barrier I wouldn't break. And that is why we are so close, because you're not just my family. You're people I would all hang out with by choice and like would have conversations with and stuff. So it's like, a lot of people don't feel that about their families, and so it's hard for them to, but that just goes back to everyone has their own narrative going on in their head, and they are perceiving everything around them according to that narrative in their head. And so it's just like, when you think about it that way, why would you ever listen to something that someone is saying about you that is going along with their narrative? Like everyone acts out of self-interest. We all just need to remember that. But anyways, what I was saying was, when Brandon first started making those videos, and there was a lot of comments about me and Claudia being bitches. And I was like 18, 19 at that point. So reading that stuff, I was like, oh, this is true. And I'm horrible. And I'm the worst, because I already hated myself. So anything you read at that point, you're going to believe. And looking back on that, it was like such a struggle for me to be seen that way. But I was like, but I wasn't happy. And I was acting in ways that I didn't align with. I was still growing. I was still healing. And it's fine. I accept that. And now if someone wants to comment that I'm a bitch or this or that, I just kind of like giggle at it. Like, this was another thing too that I realized: if you can take yourself out of a situation, it's a lot easier to find the humor in it. And I really use humor to cope. Like, I laugh at everything and I can't help it. Like, I love laughing. I think laughter is literally healing. It's medicine. And I've always been like that. I've always loved to laugh. Don't take anything too seriously, and it helps me get through things.
That's one of the coping tools. That's like one of the things.
It really is.
It's not one of Mom's.
It's not one of mine. Although that's not true.
That's not
true. Yeah.
We definitely-
it depends
Sometimes.
it depends on like what the situation is and how much that I have processed.
I want to ask you if you remember this, because it's a vivid memory of mine. But we all know that I have a fear of throwing up. And I don't remember I think the last time I did, I was like, it was at house. That's all I remember.
Oh my God. So long ago.
And so I was like a kid, like 4 or 5. But I remember I was staying home from school. I didn't feel good. And I was sitting on your bed and you had like given me medicine or something. And I think I was like gagging on the medicine because I didn't feel good. And you literally were like watching me in silence. And it was, it literally felt like it was in slow motion, where you were like staring at me like this. And I was like, and I I literally went to gag, and you picked me up and swung me around into your bathroom and put me on the floor of your bathroom. And I didn't even
That's
throw
what I
up.
do to the cats.
Literally.
I literally treated you like a cat.
That's literally how
That's
I
what I
look
do to
back on
them.
it, because I do it to them
I hear
too.
them getting ready to throw up.
I do it.
And then
I do
grab
it to
them,
my
move them.
cats too, and it makes me think of that. But I remember I didn't even throw up. I was just like gagged or something, and then you wouldn't let me out of the bathroom. You're like, stay in there, and I was like, I don't have to throw up. I swear.
I don't remember any of that.
Spit on
That's
myself.
so weird.
I remember. I have a memory of me and Brayden. I think we both had the stomach flu. It was when we lived there, and there was like this suppository medicine that stops you from
Oh yeah, they
throwing
work
up.
so well.
And Mom was like, she had gotten it from the pharmacy, and she was like, I'm gonna give it to both of you. And me and you were both laying in bed, in her bed next to each other. We're both like, you're not doing that. Like, you're not gonna put that in my blood.
Did I or did you? I think I did.
I think you did it.
I think you
And
did
I think it helped. I think it made
It
you guys
probably
stop
did,
throwing
but
up.
we were both like, no.
Throwing up is the worst.
We got sick a lot as kids for some reason.
every
Like, why
kid
do kids
does.
get sick so much?
I
Your
don't
immune
know.
system isn't
She- at
disgusting
one
enough.
point-
Yeah.
They're like little
There
germ
was a
infested
time-
I
balls.
guess. Yeah.
Claudia, when she was like 2, got so sick and wouldn't stop throwing up that it was like literally scary. We had to take her to the emergency room, and that's when Dad's mom was alive, and I called her because she's a nurse, and I said, what do I do? And she asked what it looked like. She goes, take her to the emergency room. And when she says that, I was freaking out because she doesn't ever
Yeah,
she
that's scary.
didn't like overreact. Yeah, it was really scary. I remember she was like all balled up in a towel in my lap, throwing up and convulsing in the car on the way.
God.
And when I got to the emergency room, I'm like, she will not stop throwing up, and she's tiny. And they were like, okay, let's bring her back. And they gave her fluids, and literally I was pregnant, and in 1 week I was back at the hospital having you.
Damn.
Okay, so you had
talk
you had
about
that
stress.
immense stress a week before having me. Yeah, I was doomed.
Yep.
I was doomed.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I did it again as an adult.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh
that
my
literally. I was
God.
gonna say that
That's
is
really
exactly how Claudia
scary.
is. She just doesn't stop throwing up, and in fact, she like turns it into an exorcism. Like she's literally
Right.
exorcising a demon out of her body. Like no wonder I
I
developed. a
can't
fear.
help it. I don't know why it is so incredibly painful for me to throw up.
And you turn colors, like you turn
It's not
like
subtle.
gray.
It's like extremely painful.
She turns like,
Like my
gray, she's like a
entire body
zombie.
tenses up, and it's
You're
like I can't.
Literally, I think you might have the similar thing to me with the throat
I
muscle.
definitely do, because I can't burp either. And when I was, I want to say I was probably like 21, 20 or something, somewhere around that age. And
When you were coming down the steps and
I
said,
woke up and I was in like excruciating pain, like so bad I like couldn't catch my breath. It hurt so bad. I think I had a kidney stone, and I think it had passed by the time I got to the hospital, but I was in so much pain that it made me like feel sick, and I was throwing up. And then I told Mom, I was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. Like, I don't know what's
and
wrong.
she doesn't say that.
And Mom was like, all right, like she had to come home from work or something. So she was like, all right, like let's go. And she went downstairs, and I'm walking down the steps, and I'm literally like, my vision's going out. I'm about to pass out. And I'm like, I need help.
She like
And she's
falls
like,
on
"What?"
me. She literally looked white as a ghost, gray, blue, whatever, and fell on me. And I'm like, oh my God. Did I call?
Yeah, I called the
911?
ambulance.
I called the ambulance because I just sat there. Oh, was that the day that she ran downstairs and hid?
Yes.
Okay, can I
you
tell the
went to
story
the
from my
basement.
perspective now? I had gotten a migraine that day. We're literally riddled with illnesses. I got an ocular migraine that day and was laying in bed, or that morning. I remember I was laying in bed with a washcloth on my head, on my eyes, listening to Shane Dawson's podcast. This was before everything. But, well, I guess he's always been kind of bad. But anyways, I was listening to his podcast, I'll never forget. And I was like already feeling horrible, already felt nauseous and horrible from my migraine. And then I hear Claudia hacking in the bathroom, triggering my fight or flight. I immediately run to the basement. And then I'm like, was she throwing up in there, this freak? Like, just throwing up
And you didn't come
unprovoked.
out. And I have her passed out on me, and I'm literally
No, dude, I was in so much
screaming
pain.
for somebody.
She's
And I
screaming,
know like there were two
No,
people
she was screaming.
in the
She was
house.
screaming for. You were screaming for,
Was
and you
there.
were
I remember
yelling his
she's-
name.
I remember she
And
screamed.
all I could see, like my vision, everything was white, and it sounded like Mom was like a mile away screaming, but she was like in my ears screaming.
Yeah, I'm screaming, holding her for somebody. Nobody's coming.
And I'm
He's
like-
taking a she's hiding in the basement.
And I'm trying to get up I'm trying to walk on the porch because I had to throw up again. And mom's like, where are you going? And I was like, I have to throw up.
I was like, this is a nightmare.
And then the ambulance comes and they got a nice little ambulance ride to the hospital.
I think I blocked that whole
Mom thought I
part
was
out.
dying.
Because now all I have is I don't have the ambulance memory at all. I just
We sat
flash
in it. I
forward
just laid
in the
there with my eyes
hospital.
closed, and it was very comforting. Honestly, I liked it.
Well, you know
It's
what's
cold
funny
in
is
there,
I've
and,
ridden in 2 ambulances and I have no memory of being in them. I don't even think I opened my eyes in them.
Oh, because you were in that bad of pain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
they had
was
to
not-
come
I
for her
remember
a
it.
couple times. I remember.
yeah.
I think in 1 month they
I rode
came
in
like
the front
4
of
times.
one to the hospital with Kennedy.
Yeah, it was like becoming like a regular thing.
Nothing is funnier than Kennedy she had her kidney stones. The ambulance comes. They're walking her down the steps in our tiny ass townhouse with the steps creaking and cracking. These 2 people, and they could barely fit on the staircase. Kennedy's walking
Oh yeah,
down.
I wasn't there.
They're holding her arm or something, and she's like, I need help.
No, this is before
To the guys?
to the ambulance. It was before
To the EMTs.
No, okay.
It's not
I
funny,
was on
actually.
the floor
It's not.
of the bathroom, unable to get up.
Dude, she crawled
the two
It's not good.
EMTs had come up the stairs. They're like watching me writhe on the bathroom floor, and I look up at them, and go, "I need help."
Kennedy crawled to my room, like literally like the grudge,
Crawled.
and pushed my door open and was like, answer the phone. And I look at my phone and like grandma's calling me and she's like, Kennedy needs help or something. And I'm like, what the is going on? Like, imagine getting
I'm glad
woken
you
up
can
like
laugh
that.
at it now
I
because it was not.
No, wait,
funny.
it gets funnier. And then Kenny's downstairs. We're about to walk out of the door because I'm the only one home. I have to go with her. Meanwhile, I'm supposed to be going to nursing school to take an exam that day. And
I think this was like the 3rd ambulance of the month. Where was I
Kennedy's-
at work?
No, it was the
Kennedy's,
first.
yeah,
Probably on
you
my
were
way
you were at
back.
work.
Was the
Kennedy's
first?
leave walking out the door and she puts on my Uggs and I go, hey, those are mine. You did not hear me. And the ambulance guys, I'm like, man, that probably wasn't the right thing to say right now. They like looked at me funny. And I was just I think I was like coping because I was like really anxious about what was happening.
Yeah.
And then I went to the hospital with you. They let me ride in the front seat of the ambulance.
I don't remember.
I barely remember it.
But
And
I
then-
Is that the one that made me lose my job for that one? Was that the one that I was like working that week?
Maybe.
That whole week. And
I
had
think
to-
so. Yeah, and
know.
you like
That's all.
had
And I had
to
to
leave
leave
early.
early.
Yeah, because I'm sitting
That
in the
was-
emergency room with Kennedy by myself.
Yeah.
Like
That was
panicking.
They never
without-
hired me again.
that was without a doubt the worst week of my life. Like,
Yeah.
when I think about it, I can't talk about it in a serious way without starting to feel anxious and sick.
There was another bad one.
Well, yeah, of course, but the kidney stones
The-
were definitely the worst thing I've ever gone
Are
Yeah,
through.
kidney stone
Florida
pains,
plane
is that
ride.
worse than pregnancy or is pregnancy worse?
You mean labor?
Labor, yeah.
Apparently,
It's-
some people say it's worse.
Honestly, it's just very different.
I would
It's
hope
very
not.
different.
It's different.
Pregnancy is like
Yeah, I
You
can't
mean labor?
say.
pregnancy is hard but it goes through like these ups and downs, and labor's very difficult if you're doing it like more naturally and with like without
Just
medication.
depends.
But you have a baby afterwards, hopefully, if everything goes well.
Yeah,
that's
true.
With kidney stones, you basically have nothing.
It's like, oh, go home.
except
You're fine
these
now.
tiny little stones. Like, here's your stone.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like a baby.
Yeah, and
you know?
apparently it's like a thing that moms forget how much pain they went through.
I was literally
Yeah.
going to say that.
Well, I was
yeah.
gonna say,
I didn't
I was
want to
gonna
do it
say
again.
that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that too because when I try to think about the pain, I can't even remember
Comprehend it, yeah.
Yeah, you can't when you're experiencing
that's with
that-
anything,
When
yeah.
you're experiencing such an intense amount of pain, your brain is not thinking how it normally does. Your brain is in a place where it's like all I remember from it, and I feel like I remember saying this, is if there was a button in front of me that said die, I would have pressed it without hesitation. That's how bad the pain was.
Well, people who are in like chronic extreme pain say that the only thing they care about in that moment is just not having the pain.
Yeah.
Right.
And nothing else.
It's true.
Literally nothing else matters. So whenever you're having a bad day, just remember you could be in chronic severe
trust me.
pain.
Well, the people that
me,
are
I
in
know.
chronic,
Yep.
the people that have chronic pain like that will sit there and look like perfectly normal, and you won't think
Yeah.
anything's wrong, but they'll tell you their pain is 9 out of 10, and you'll be like, no way. But that's what people with chronic pain have to deal with.
Yeah,
Yep.
I met this guy in Tampa once where he was getting surgery on his like teeth.
Oh my God, I
and
remember
they
this.
accidentally hit they hit some kind of like nerve in his mouth,
Jesus.
and he basically
terrible.
it's some kind of like thing that happens. It's actually like called like the suicide disease, something like that. But they hit a nerve, and it was so bad that he has excruciating chronic pain nonstop forever.
What?
So he's constantly
horrible.
he was constantly high. Like he would just smoke weed all the time.
Oh my God. Did he sue them?
I
subside
don't
the
understand
pain.
how
Or does he sign
weed
things and
helps
can't
people
sue?
with pain, because that's never been the case for me. It helps me with anxiety, but with
Maybe
pain,
it's distracting.
Maybe
I think if you
I
get
mean, it just
high
depends.
enough,
no,
I think it also depends on the type of
type
weed.
of strain that it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
for
'cause
sure.
I've tried
But like I can't imagine.
I've tried so many different strains at this point. They all feel the same, pretty much the same to me.
Well, I think it depends on your like body chemistry too, and what kind of pain it is. Like I don't know, maybe nerve pain. It does
That's
make
true.
it does help take it away.
Did you guys see the message that I sent about the Aura ring for the lady detecting
No.
her cancer?
No.
Yeah. She was wearing the Aura ring and it detected cancer in her body and she could get it treated so it didn't go any further. And she's in remission.
Wow.
What did it do it from heart rate and temperature? 'Cause
I
that's
don't know
all
what
Well,
it
it
did.
tells
I
you-
caught the last tell of it.
Dev was sick this last week, and her ring was telling her it was like symptom detection, and it was telling her body was like in a state of stress because she was sick, and she was. I mean,
It's a temperature change.
well, no, it wasn't even just the temperature change. I think it's your heart rate when you're sleeping.
Oh, like a combination of everything.
Yeah, your oxygen levels.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it
interesting.
scans all those things, and you're still not wearing yours.
I'm not wearing mine either.
Give
oh
it to
yeah,
me.
Brandon, you
I'll
little
wear it.
bitch. That's up.
What do you
I'll
mean?
wear it.
He
I have to
doesn't
pay-
even know where it is.
I have to pay a monthly subscription.
Claudia got Brandon
Yeah,
an Aura
it's like
ring for his.
$25.
Claudia got Brandon an Aura ring for his birthday, but also didn't you get it on the day of his birthday?
Pretty sure, yeah.
What's that matter?
Yeah, why are you outing me
No,
like that?
I was
Why is that
no,
matter?
I wasn't outing you. I was trying to say it as like a because I was there that morning, so I remember like you guys went and picked it up and everything, and it was a whole thing, and you just wanted him to.
Yeah, I
I'm
made-
surprised that they make you pay a monthly fee for that.
Well, there's three reasons I haven't worn it. One, I forgot. I meant to set it up. Two, it was the monthly subscription. Three, I lift a lot, so and I always have to take it off,
Oh,
and then
right.
I don't want to lose it in the gym.
So they make
like
need
I
to
lost
make
my
one
last
for
one at the rock
lifters.
climbing gym because I would have to take it off because I can't climb with that ring on.
Right.
I did a few times and it's like up.
Losing it.
Yeah, and then I put it in my rock climbing bag, and I don't know what the fuck. I think I threw away the rock climbing bag or something.
Should have gotten you a Whoop instead.
That would probably be better for me.
Wait, you
but
put it in the bag and you threw the bag away?
yeah,
The one Claudia got you?
no, and I had one of the original ones
Oh.
like years ago.
Yeah, but you can wear it just while you sleep.
Yeah, I know, but isn't it just heart rate?
That's pretty much the main thing I like it for. Is it tells you
It tells
exactly
you your sleep score. It'll tell you like how many hours you slept, how your readiness score, like I don't know, like
and
it
for
tells you
women
these
it
things
tracks
that
your cycle.
that's why I like it. But I'm wearing
I
it
like
now,
the
but
fact
most of the time
that-
I only wear it at night. I take it
I
off
like
during
the
the
fact
day.
that it can tell you if you're getting sick.
Tells you symptom detection. If you have a fever, it can tell you that.
How much is it a month?
I think like 20, 25.
But you could probably pay
I
for
could
a
drop my
year.
Netflix for that. It's going up to
probably cheaper if you get a year.
$24.95. Netflix, you suck.
Mom, I think
Huh?
you should put a stripper pole in your house.
I was thinking about it after I saw you do it.
Where's
Yeah.
she
Oh
gonna
my
put
God.
that?
For everybody
I don't
who
know.
doesn't follow me on
True.
Instagram, I put a stripper. I don't like calling it a stripper pole because it's just a pole, but I also like calling
Call
it a
it
stripper pole.
a dancer's pole.
A dancer's pole. I put a metal
There you
pole
go.
in my bedroom, right next to my bed, because I love watching videos of girls pole dancing, and I think it's so beautiful, such an art form, and takes so much strength, just like ballet or
Claudia, you
any
should put
dancing.
one in your basement. If she puts one in her basement, I'd use it here.
It's just so much fun. Like I've had it.
Did
For
you
like,
set it up yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really not that hard to install. I was like, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to install it myself or if it was going to be tall enough. I was just like, I don't know. I just wanted to
Do you
see.
like screw? You like twist it or something, and then
No,
it gets
so it
tighter.
comes in like 4 different pieces, and you can make it like, I think my ceilings are 9 feet. So, and 9
Yeah, you
mine
feet,
have
are
really
10.
tall ceilings.
9 feet was the cutoff for this pole, but they probably have taller ones. And the way that it installs is just super flush to the ceiling and super flush to the floor. And the way that they described it just made it really easy to do. So it was really easy to install. It hasn't like, and it feels really stable. I'm still getting things down and stuff, but my shoulders are so sore. Like I
Oh,
tried
yeah.
to swing on it today and I was in too much pain. Like
Yeah.
it's going to make my arms so strong because you're really
Are
just
you
like
going to add stripper pole dancing
I mean,
to the
she
You
can
know
add
what?
it.
superhuman?
superhuman is not an accurate reading of my energy. My energy score is not accurate because I can't. I dance around so much. I swing on that pole so much, and then I feel like I did a whole workout afterwards, and I can't
Okay,
enter
that's
it in.
interesting. This leads me to asking him this question. So, listening to that, and then if I do 45 minutes of cardio, compared to if I do my 20-minute fast burn, my 20-minute fast burn is literally so much more energy than if I were to do a whole entire 45 minutes of cardio.
Well, the energy still has to
So
be adjusted.
it has to be adjusted, or is
but
that
it's
correct?
still relatively new. That the energy levels still need to be adjusted because it's like if you just make an activity, it's difficult to determine how much energy that activity is worth. So you have to build algorithms to figure it out for you.
Well,
Do you see
in
what
a
I'm
way,
saying?
He has to use like all the data of like everyone doing everything.
People think
Right.
it's so like simple. It's not simple. It's
I
very
don't think
complicated.
any of
I would
it's
not know
simple.
how to
Because
do
there's-
that.
because there's so many different activity types. So
Eventually, one day it'll be connected with Aura Ring.
That'd be
eventually,
cool.
eventually I'll have it connected with every. It actually you just connect it with Apple Health because
I mean-
Aura Ring goes to Apple Health.
When you really
They're
think
all
Well,
one
in a
thing.
way, Kennedy, in a way, like, and same with my cardio, like, you need to do the 20-minute workout that we did, the weightless
Kenny, what
workout.
problem are you having? You think it's too low?
She thinks it's too low.
Well, no.
Hold on.
Some days I don't even enter anything into the app because it wasn't a rest day for me. I've done things, but they're just not logged into the app. Like pole dancing isn't on there. I don't know how to enter that in. Like
Would that even be?
certain things I just don't know how to enter in.
Eventually, I'm adding like default workouts, but I've seen somebody make like sword fighting or something. I don't know if they're actually doing.
I was just gonna
fighting.
say
Try
it's
playing with a little
literally
Nerf sword.
a brand new app, and
Right.
think about how different it's going
It's
to be
working
in a
its
year.
kinks out, right?
Well, the next update's
Right.
a lot different.
Well, I'm just wondering because, like, if after I do, in a way, it kind of made sense because after I get off of the elliptical, doing 45 minutes of the same thing, and then
Well, here's the thing. I know.
Doing my fast
I
burn,
know what
I'm
you're
more
saying.
tired.
I know what you're saying, and I know what the problems are. Like it will be fixed. It's just like
but the thing
a
is
matter of time.
am I actually doing more, putting out more energy in my 20-minute stuff because some of it's like jumping and doing different things and they're big movements
You gotta ask
compared
yourself
to just
that
being on
question.
the elliptical.
The
No, I
only
feel
way,
it.
if you want it to be pinpoint accurate, the
Yeah.
only way would be to like cross reference what you're doing with a wearable and superhuman all at the same time. That would be the only way to
Yeah,
get it
you
like
gotta get like an Aura
flawlessly
Ring or something
accurate.
that'll tell you how many calories you burn by
Like-
doing each activity.
I can get it in the future really.
Aura Ring should sponsor you.
I can get it in the future really close,
know.
but like if you want it to be pinpoint accurate, like that's difficult to do.
Well, I'm wondering because like what she's doing right now is she's getting used to it by just spinning on it and holding
No,
on, and
Well,
it's
there-
hard.
just
there would basically
spinning.
have to be there. There
First
would
of all,
basically have to be
Mom,
like.
You
hold on,
cannot
hold on.
say that when you do not pole dance.
All I see is you holding on though and doing the typical like spins. I get it.
Okay, and
But-
that is an insane arm workout.
She's not
there would
saying
have to
it's
be this. There
not.
would have to be like pole dancing beginner, pole dancing intermediate,
Right,
pole
exactly.
dancing
That's
advanced.
what I'm saying,
And
yes.
then when you choose it, it would have to
Yes.
algorithmically know how much energy
Yes.
that you're
okay. Because
accumulating.
there's
for
some that can actually like hold themselves
Kenny, why don't you
literally
just-
like parallel.
Kenny, why don't you just ask me and I'll
they've
make you
been
the
doing it
activities?
for
You never
years.
asked me.
That's what I
been
just
doing it for
said.
4
I said you need to
days.
add it.
Yeah, Kenny, why don't you ask me to make the activities for you?
I don't know.
I'll just
I
make
feel like
them
I
for
have.
you.
I did ask you to put a dance one on there. I just don't know. Like it's so vague.
Well, then I can make more sweet. I mean, you can make them yourself, but I can make more specific ones. But what I'll just do is I'll add a whole bunch of like new sports and workouts. I mean, like
Didn't you
pole
just
dance,
add
like
a ton of them?
weird edge cases.
Didn't you just add a ton of them?
Those are it's different. Those are like workouts, like activities. Kennedy's like an edge case because she doesn't like actually do gym routines.
Right.
Which majority of the people do. Well, we'll end on this. I was doing research yesterday, and apparently lifting weights and doing like any kind of cardio activity often, there's like certain amount of hours per week or something, is 1.5 times more effective than therapy at reducing depression.
I believe it.
Multiple studies.
Wow.
I believe it.
So if you do that plus therapy, then it will be
Wait,
even,
what is it?
even
Lifting?
greater.
That's
Lifting and cardio.
Yeah, basically muscular resistance, like any kind of muscular resistance and and just getting your heart rate higher.
Time under tension.
That's why I worked out this morning.
That's why you should go to bar classes.
That's why you should download Superhuman.
I gotta say, I
now.
was once on
Pilates.
one
You need
side
to
of that
teach more.
fence, and now I'm on the other side where I gotta say, yeah, guys, working out does help depression. You win.
Exactly.
I think it's once you start doing it and see the evidence for yourself.
Yeah,
then
you
you're
have to want it yourself.
oh.
No one can force you to do anything.
And you have to do it for at least like 2 to 3 weeks to become a habit where you actually really feel it. I mean, you feel it right away, but I think 3 weeks is like the, if you can make it to 3 weeks, then you're good.
I'm literally going to
You'll
go on
do
a
good.
run after this just so my energy can be high. Because you know how much energy I get on the app when I go for a run?
Yeah, that's great.
I'll do
It's
I'll
true.
put stretching in there and it's like 0.5 energy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I gotta
to be
track my
fair,
leg
that is
day.
stretching. But yeah, I will fix all that stuff. So just bear with
Stretching
me.
wouldn't, that sounds accurate.
All right, everybody.
Probably
This
is.
podcast
Thanks for
is just like
watching.
every week we tell you our grievances with Superhuman.
Trust me, I get plenty of bug submissions, which I like, by the way. Keep sending them.
Yeah.
But
All right.
it helps.
I think you're doing amazing though.
I want to go
Incredible.
outside.
Thanks,
It's nice
Mom.
out.
You're
I'm staring
welcome.
at the sun and I want to go outside. So
you want to go
I do too.
outside?
love you guys.
Oh,
Bye.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Nice.
it's the first nice day.
Yeah.
See you
Well,
guys.
yesterday was.
It's 70 degrees here.
Love you, Kennedy.
Bye.
Bye,
Love you.
Kennedy.
Love you, babe.